My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
And we going again, fellas. I like that we back to back on their ass. So the update's gonna be pretty simple today. You know what I'm saying? Bellhead, check in, baby. How you feeling today? How your Keeley's doing?
So I had a good day today, yo. I woke up this morning, worked out.
Thank God.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, right? I woke up, blessed to see another day. I worked out.
I'm thankful you woke up, B.
Yeah, man, I'm thankful too.
How the fuck me up?
Yeah. And that shit's real, man. I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, so I woke up, worked out. But before I worked out, I actually meditated today. You know what I'm saying?
Have you done it in the past?
I have done it in the past. I haven't been consistent. What I learned today, though, I believe, because my boss, I'm saying, like I said, I said in the last episode, I spent some time with him, and maybe I didn't say it in the last episode, but I spent some time with him.
You was talking to me, I think.
Yeah, and we just strengthened our bond, right? We just strengthened our partnership and our business. Our meeting, I was dressed like this in sweatpants at his crib, right? We were just chilling, talking, catching up, and anyway.
Shout out to Dave.
Yeah, shout out to Dave. After that, we did a lot of development work, and then he sent me a text on Monday, a meditation on YouTube. And he's like, hey, man, I think it'd be a good idea for you and I to do a 21-day challenge. But yesterday I was so backed up because I was out most of the week last week. So just catching up. So I responded to his email today and said day one completed. But the difference today with the meditation is this one was like a 26-minute meditation. I normally do 10-minute meditations. What I realized today, at least, that I may be better suited for the longer meditations because my mind is racing for like the first 12 minutes anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if the meditation is only 10 minutes, my mind's racing. Now, again, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be racing, right? Maybe that's part of it. But I felt today I was able to calm it down and then get into the meditation for like the last 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 20, 25, or excuse me, the last 15 minutes or so. So that was what was cool today. In addition, I left the house. My first time leaving the house today since Friday. So I mentioned on last episode how my boy Corey Johnson, shout out to the Johnsons, came to rake my leaves. I hadn't even gone outside to see it yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I just ain't been out the house. So I got out the house. I drove, got me some Ben & Jerry's that I'm about to crush after this. But today was cool. Dealing with some HR stuff I got to work through. But today was cool though. That's my only update. All good today.
P, what's up?
Man, blessed and fortunate, man, to be able to do Thanksgiving at the crib, to have the space to do it, man. So we're just preparing for that and trying to just really start attacking everything that's next, man. But everything's good, you know. I could complain, but I ain't really got nothing of substance to really complain about, man. Just got to get to it.
Nah, that's what's up.
Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday.
Or is it?
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Yeah. All right, man.
So, my case, again, at first I got, kids are happy and healthy. That's always a blessing for me. They moving and grooving. I share the sentiment of you, P. Like I'm currently in the search for a new crib now, and I would love to be able to host Thanksgiving, man. And I say that because moms did Thanksgiving twice in the past 14 years.
Bro, it's been that long? That's crazy.
In the past, shit I'm talking about. Moms did Thanksgiving twice in the past 14 years, bro. And the last time she did it, Mia was 11 now, Mia was 8. And Mia said grace. And my grandma was here. And I just remember my mom trying to like put on her game face, and you could see it you could see it all in her face that she was struggling, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, shit hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, you could just tell it was just hard for her. You know what I mean? She, like, mom picks up doubles on Thanksgiving to avoid having to be around people. And she probably won't say it out loud, but like not having my brother there for Thanksgiving is like, you know what I'm saying? So she picks up doubles and works. Keep her mind off of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's been, so moms ain't there, so I ain't doing nothing. So I'm about to pick up a shift on Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like, let my kids hang with their moms and I'll just, do my thing. But to your point, be like, I'm looking for, get the spot now where I can invite the family over and try to bring it back to old school. I have like vivid, candid memories of my childhood and Thanksgiving. Like those were some memorable times, bro. And everybody was together. Everybody, the whole family. On Thanksgiving, we all came together. It would have been the bullshit during the year, but Thanksgiving,
Right.
everybody was there. If you didn't stay long, you pulled up and we saw everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
the crazy shit is, Chief, though, you talk like your house ain't big enough now to host. You know what I'm saying?
I was just gonna say
that. Your house is plenty big now to host. I know what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like you want, like Chief he owns his multifamily house he lives in. It's really big, but he wants he wants to picket fence, yard, and single family home like that. So I get that, but it ain't for a lack of space that you can't host. Let's put it that way.
True. And to your point, Bill, I've never meditated, bro. Never even considered it. Not once.
You want to hop on this 21-day challenge with me?
Good
bro?
on that. I'm good on the 21-day challenge, but I think I'd like to give it a try to see if it works for me. Like I feel like I would probably be somebody best suited for some meditation. Sit my ass down.
Hell yeah. You seem like you already do that shit. The way you talk sound like you meditate.
Listen, man, I was an angry being, Pete. Like, and it took a lot for me to like learn to control my temper, my tone, and like put it together. I'm telling you, I honest to God, I can't remember the last time I had like an emotional outburst where I wasn't in control of my emotions.
This motherfucker, when he would get upset, he'd jump into the dad tone. And he wouldn't even be talking to me, but I get nervous. I'm like, what the hell going on? Do I need to mediate? Like, I start checking myself. Like, I'm straight, right? I'm straight.
Some shit like, but like it was like, Bell, I was telling somebody the other day about just them two specific incidents where, like, by the grace of God, you happen to be there to like keep me from going off the edge. You know what I'm saying? Some wild shit. Nevertheless, I like that's something like I can pat myself on the back for, fellas. I feel real good at the fact that like I feel like I'm in control. Like ain't much that can happen to me now that's gonna push me over the edge. And but even if it does,
exception of a white man not saying good morning on the elevator.
Yeah, you will be pressed over that shit.
Yeah, but again, putting me over the edge, like it's not like it was before. Like I'll take that shit. I'll take it. Sure. It'll boil me up inside, but I'll take it with me. It won't be an outburst of like those emotions anymore. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, fellas, we've been kind of going on our rants and gems, no pun intended. So other shout out to the Rants and Gems podcast, but like, and haven't really like locked in on a specific joint. We just been kind of, airing it out, which is kind of cool because we still doing what we do, but I think we should focus more on, a specific topic this night. So one of our emails talked about love and being loved. And the question they asked was, can being loved correctly be overwhelming if you've been loved wrong for so long? Y'all got that?
One more time for the people in the back.
It said, can being loved correctly be overwhelming after being loved wrong for so long? I saw a quote, me
if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
So, I saw a quote one day and it said, the biggest struggle or something along those lines, like the biggest struggle is the healthy relationship after the toxic one.
Yeah, I think you may have shared that or we talked about it or something.
But I remember being like, damn, that kind of makes sense. So the question is, do we want to define what loving wrong looks like? Do we all know what that looks like? You know what I'm saying? Like it's different for everybody, but can being loved correctly? I think we should break it down. What does being loved correctly look like for men, for you guys? Let's talk about that. Black men talk about love. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no bang bang shoot 'em up over here, cuz we talking about love. You dig?
Being loved correctly. So I can start if y'all cool with that.
Please do.
So it's interesting, man. Like, so I always say, right, I've had 3 relationships in my life. You know what I'm saying? And every relationship I felt I was being loved correctly, but everybody who loved me was different, right? So the first time I was in a relationship, I realized that I take that back. My first relationship, in hindsight, I realized that I wasn't being loved correctly. I was in college, you know what I'm saying? It was my girlfriend I had in college, and my first girlfriend I had in college, and there was just a lot of things that she did that had more to do with her than me, right? So then I moved to my next girlfriend in college, and I realized that, holy shit, like she appreciates me, you know what I'm saying? Like she respects me. She she holds me in high regard, right? And she's vocal about when she's proud of me. So like those are things where I'm like, damn. So what the fuck was I experiencing, the first time around? And that was great. But I think what happened was with me, the first one taught me, okay, I need more than this. The second one taught me, I was like, oh wow, like this is pretty dope if this is what it's like, great relationship, all of that. And then the last one, it was just deeper. You know what I'm saying? It was like, so I guess what I'm saying is being loved correctly is to the individuals what fits and suits that individual's needs. You know what I'm saying? Because, and not needs like overarching needs, like needs at that time. Like at the time of my second girlfriend in college, she gave me everything I needed. I didn't know I needed more because I came from, to your original point, Chief, I came from like a very toxic relationship that I didn't realize was toxic until I got into the next one. Mm-hmm. And then the second one wasn't toxic at all, right? I may have been doing some toxic shit, right? Like I definitely screwed that up. But when I got to the next one, it was like, oh, she knows exactly who I am, right? Like she knows why I screwed it up, how I screwed my last relationship up, and she's still loving me for who I am while understanding that we both have to grow together. You know what I'm saying? So each instance gave me what I thought I needed at the time. And then when I look back, it was like, well, maybe I didn't need that. Maybe I needed what I have right now. You know what I'm saying? So love, to me, being loved correctly is based on the individuals of that person. I don't think it's an overarching answer. Like, I don't think my answer will be the same as Prentice's and, and Chiefs and so on and so forth, or every black man for that matter.
P, what's the, what does being loved correctly look like for you?
I think it consists of growth. I think that's the key. And I think you got to be able to recognize like the growth that being loved correctly comes with. It comes with growth where you can directly be like, okay, so this person, her loving me has impacted me in this way, X, Y, Z. And then there's the growth that comes with, because of how she loves me, I have to deal with some shit that isn't pleasant. And that experience isn't going to be pleasant either, obviously, but I'm doing it because she loves me. You know what I'm saying? Or it's something about how she loves me that has me willing to now take this step to conquer this hurdle or this obstacle. So I think it comes with growth and it comes with tools. It comes with tools to, like, being loved properly teaches you how to cultivate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes with like these
I was just going,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some tools that come with this shit. Like, learn how to manage and maintain yourself better because you're being fed. You know what I mean? So because you're being fed, you grow. But yeah, I think it comes with growth and tools, man. Like it's apparent when you're being loved correctly. You don't have to wonder.
That's dope. And I was gonna interject and say, for those, I'm not sure if you posted it yet or you intend to post it, but like during the wedding, you know, Prentice being a wordsmith that he is, wrote some stuff down, but really wanted to pour from the heart. And I remember one of the things you said was like, because of the way you love me, I've learned to love myself better.
Yeah.
Essentially what you just said, but that's
Yeah,
super,
that's exactly what I thought.
super real. You know what I'm saying? And I think as much as, you know, it's different for everybody, I feel like it should encompass that right there though.
Yeah, I do too. I think my better ability to articulate is going to be from obviously my perspective, but at its core, it does feed you and it does put you through something that's for your development. You get what I'm saying? Like whether it comes with hurdles or it's just bliss, you get something out of it, and it's not just, you know, I think sometimes people look at love correctly, and it's happened. Used to be catching the bus and shit. Now you riding around an Altima that's not your name, that she's willing to put in her name for you. Nah, it's gonna give you the tools to get your own shit together so you can get that shit in your own name. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna feed you that way. It's gonna give you some shit that stays with you. It isn't just because of their presence.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
No, I was gonna say, I think like, well, hearing you say that, P, and just knowing the vibe that you guys have, I can see that. We had to sit this cat down and prior to his wedding, and just not that we didn't know, but we wanted to hear it from him. Like, yo, are you sure this is what you want to do? Tell us why. Not that he needed to justify it, but as his homies, we gotta listen, bro. Nigga, we know you. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? And then he sat us down, and at the end of the conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, he know what he's doing. This is exactly, he's doing exactly the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's, and so we, in that conversation, we heard and felt that love. I'm listening to you both talk, and I can say that I don't know if I was mature enough to receive it, if it was coming in the way I needed it to come, but I don't know if the love that I received, I think I yearn for that for that make me want to be better love. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't feel you got me.
If I did, it wasn't in the sense of.
What did you just say, Prentice?
He doesn't.
I asked him if he doesn't feel like he's gotten.
He's gotten it. Yeah.
And it's tough to give a direct answer in regards to that. But what I can say is there have been more things that have been done to make me feel like I haven't than I have.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. So hold that thought. But and it's just, I can give small examples, but there were certain comments that said that like stung, that were, it just didn't feel like love, bro. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a prime example. We was rocking the verses and flow set, doing what we do. So the day my episode aired, I had a gig that night, so I didn't see it. So I DVR'd it, right? 2-3 weeks go by. I still haven't seen the episode. The morning, one like Tuesday morning or something like that, I had just filmed a news special on TV. So the news special was coming on at 6 a.m. So I got up in the morning to watch the news special, just to, see what's going on. And then that night I come home and I got some time, so I watched the Verses and Flow special. And the comment was made to me, so this is what you do? Watch yourself on TV all day? Bro, I pee. No bullshit, fellas. That was one of the most hurtful things like someone's ever said to me, bro. That shit stung in ways I can't. And it was just like, yo, like how many people can you look at in your phone who chased their passion and got on national television? How many people can you look in your phone and see that been on national television? That shit felt that shit was so hurtful, fam. Talking about it now, like, makes me mad.
That says more about them than you, though.
Right,
absolutely. It says that people can love you to a limit, but and then they can't take certain shit.
Let's call it what it is, though, right? Like, here's a challenge for Black men. There's a lot of Black men that don't love themselves.
Yep.
Due to a lot of trauma, life experience that they've had. So if you can't love yourself, you really can't allow somebody in to love you to the tune and the level that you need to be loved.
Very
true. What I'm saying? So like there's a wow, why can't I think of the word? Not a quagmire. There's an imbalance. It's not the word I was looking for, but there's an imbalance there because it's like you can as a black man find the woman to love you unconditionally more than you've ever been loved. But if you haven't gotten there for yourself, you won't be able to receive that in the manner that's necessary, right? So that whole making you want to grow, you won't get there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking specifically for you, Chief. I'm just saying in general. You know what I mean? Like you won't get there if you don't love yourself.
No,
You
no, for
know,
sure.
because you won't think you're worthy of that.
And you know, just see, and I think oftentimes, like at some point, we mask our confidence for the worthiness, if you will. You know what I'm saying? You just use
It's
the word.
ego.
It could be ego.
Uh-huh.
Ego.
But no, so
Is
when I
it?
think about the lesson, like P said, you know what I mean? We tend to seek validation from the woman we encounter and maybe mistake that validation for love, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying, but I'm not really sure.
Me
think-
either.
I feel like, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go, P.
I feel like it's like if you don't love yourself enough going into it, sometimes you find yourself tolerating things and questioning the things you're tolerating. Like in that moment of watching news, and then I've had the same ass experiences with some TV shit. If you don't love yourself, sometimes in that moment, you let it go by and it fucks with you, but you kind of sit on it and you keep going in the relationship and kind of have to place that in a certain pocket to keep going. You know what I mean?
Or you believe it.
That too.
You see what I'm saying? Like if you
Yeah, absolutely. It holds more truth than it does fiction.
right.
Yeah,
Because
if you don't love yourself,
right,
because you're relying on her love to kind of compensate for what you can't or won't give yourself.
Or to maybe what Chief was trying to say is you're relying on her to validate you, right?
Mhm.
Where like you're not enough for yourself yet because you haven't gotten to the point to love yourself. Right.
That's
And
it right
I think
there.
maybe that's where you were trying to go, Chief.
In a sense, but not as it pertains to that particular like comment in that moment, though. But yes.
No. I'm talking about as a black
As a
man
whole, yeah,
individually, right?
for
So
sure.
it's like, because so this is dude, right? We used to be super tight, and his mom left him when he was young, and then one day we were just talking about, and he was a sharp dude, like he got chicks, and he has the gift to get like. Anyway, he got game, right? And not game like it's like he's spitting, but it's like really he's just a good liar, right? Let's just call it what it is. He's a really good liar. And as a result, he would get a lot of women and he was attractive and college graduate, athlete, all that shit. One day we were talking about one of his relationships that wasn't going well. And he was like, man, she know I got abandonment issues. Like she know I got abandonment issues. She know my mom left me. Like, why is she doing this? You know what I'm saying? So I say that because he went into that relationship based on our conversations, feeling like he wasn't even worthy of love. Right? Because the one woman that's supposed to love him unconditionally never did. So there's a lot of that shit in black men, right? That we don't process. And then when we get to these relationships, we want this woman to then validate who we are because we never had that. Right. And then again, not everybody. I'm just saying certain circumstances. So that's something else where it's like, and then we take it a step further, right? Like if a black man isn't used to receiving that, what does he do for validation? He gets validated from everybody he can, right? What does that mean? That means he's talking to this one, he's talking to that one, he's talking to this one. And it's not because he loves smashing all these chicks. Nah, a part of that could be he's just seeking validation, right? It's filling his cup. He never received it. Now, one would say, okay, well, he probably needs to take a couple steps back and begin to love himself, right? So he doesn't need to seek validation in all these women. But the reverse is true too for women, right? Women that didn't grow up with father figures, right? They don't have an example, right? There's no barometer set. So they go seeking validation in all these men, right? And that validation can take different forms. But what I'm saying is we more often than not hear about the women seeking validation through men, but we don't talk about the men seeking validation through women because of ego, right? And I'm straight, I'm good, I don't need that, whatever, right? But
and
inside,
it's a lot more socially accepted.
yeah, yeah. Why? Because men aren't allowed socially to show weakness, show vulnerability.
Yeah, but that comes in the form of like just a public hug. Like, yo, my man, I see you struggling. Like, give me a hug. Nah, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Buckle up, like knuckle up type stuff. And that's unfortunate. One of my students the other day, female best friend, was shot in the head by her boyfriend accidentally, playing with a gun. Bang, shot her dead center, went in through the front, out through the back. Shorty in the hospital, still alive.
That's crazy.
And he's in school struggling, you know what I'm saying? He came in my office, like, Mister, can I close the door? I'm like, no, I don't close doors with students in my office, but please feel free to slide your chair up so we can talk, personally. He slides up and he's teary-eyed in the whole 9 yards. And I went to give him a hug, and he tried to play tough. And I'm like, yo, nah, we're not doing that, bro. Like, you came here for a reason. Like accept this. You dig what I'm saying? But we aren't even taught that. Like, even from another man on some, just accepting love, period, is something that, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of us struggle with from any realm.
I think so. To the part of your question after identifying it, I think the overwhelming.
Hold on. What are we identifying? What love?
So we were just talking about what we identify as what love looks like, right?
Being loved correctly to you, yes.
Being loved correctly.
Uh-huh.
So after being in a toxic relationship, and your question was if being loved correctly can be overwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more so. I think that's based on the individual. I think the overall answer would be yeah, but I think the challenges come in unlearning certain behavior and then being receptive to new behavior simultaneously, because that's really what you got to do, and that's really where the fucking struggle comes in, because you're not gonna. I think one of y'all said it earlier. You're not going to identify that shit. I think Bell, you said it, until you get into the next relationship. Right. So now you're in this new relationship, unknowingly or subconsciously, with all this old baggage that you're going to have to unlearn as a result of the love you're now getting. Mm-hmm. And then that person has to be patient enough to fucking manage and be sensitive to your transitions because of what you're coming out of. At the same time, you got to give them what they need because you've committed yourself to being in this new relationship. And you got to relearn yourself, your behavior based upon what you just dealt with previously, depending on how.
I think that's one of my current, I don't want to say it's not a struggle yet, but my biggest thing is now is I've been with you guys for the past 2 years. I've been very introspective years before that, and really doing the work to better myself, but have yet to necessarily put it in full practice. So I think when
is that because you haven't had somebody to put it in practice with?
I'm saying,
right.
So in doing so, like, now I get an opportunity to kind of like assess myself in a relationship versus being prepared for the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could practice all day. You got to watch some game. Now it's time to give it a little bit of game film. You know what I'm saying? To really look back at that.
Something I just thought about, this is why it's good to have these conversations, right? I definitely was loved, right? Like, by my parents, no question. But they never showed me how you're supposed to be loved. Like, I don't come from like a very affectionate, emotional family. You know what I'm saying? Like, and anybody who, so where Chief and I grew up, it's a heavy Hispanic culture, specifically Puerto Rican. And if you ever watch a Puerto Rican mom with their son and how they love their son, right? It's completely different than what I experienced. Both love, right? Like, both love, but just completely different than what I experienced. And how, again, not everybody, in a lot of cases, they cater to their kids, they cater to their sons and all these things. So I never experienced that, right? So I never, like, I knew I was loved and I loved myself, but I never, I didn't have an example of like how, and the reverse is true, right? Like, my mom never showed me, I never saw visibly like how she loves my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen them show I've literally seen them kiss like twice in my life ever. You know what I'm saying? So not like a hyper affectionate family, not a hyper emotional family. So I never saw like, yeah, they're still married, but I never saw an example of good love, right? Like what good love is supposed to look like. So I think for me, that's why it was a lot of trial and error. Because though I know I love myself, I didn't know how I should be treated, right? I knew I should be respected, right? I knew I should be cared for, but I didn't have an example. So I had to go through examples to figure out, to narrow it down. Like, okay, this is what I need, based on everything I experienced. So I just had that epiphany right now, so I thought I would share. That's all.
No, and I think that's a very so. There's a couple of things I want to talk about with that. So that, like, you mentioned examples, and it's stupid for me to say, not stupid, but like one of the reasons, like people, I got 3 kids from 2 different women, and they'd be like, "Were you ever married?" And I'm like, "No." The examples I was given in my life, my grandma had 9 kids, bro. None of my aunts and uncles was married growing up, and they were always together. My uncle, my auntie Joey, my uncle Eddie, for as long as I know, for as long as I was born. And I don't think they were. I think they might have got married. I'm not sure, but either way, I didn't think they were. But so when I found out I was having a baby, oh, I'm jumping with joy, hella happy. But at no point in my mind was it like marriage. It was like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like people in my hood, you get married, you move in. I mean, you have a baby, you move in together, you raise children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There was no examples of like my grandfather was married. My grandfather was like, my grandfather got 9 kids with my grandmother and 23 total. You dig what I'm saying? Like he was out there.
Shout out,
So
Mr. Wiley.
shout out Mr. Wiley. So that role, that essence of like marriage wasn't really something that was an example for me. But we talked about, being given that or not being given that emotion, that affection or whatever. About, have you taken that and pour that into your kids now? Like, do you give the reverse to your kids, or do you find yourself emulating what you were given?
So, great question. And I realized this the other day. Like I kiss Chase, tell Chase I love him all the time. Like, and I did the same.
Real quick, I got footage. My nephew says I'm his best friend, not his dad. just so we're clear.
I had to bribe this nigga to change his mind. No, so I love. I mean, because that's the other thing, right? Like, and I'll answer your question, Chief. But I'll bring my son to his grandmother's, like Lowe's mom's house, and then one day Lo pointed it out. She was like, "Do you see why me and my sisters have so much confidence?" And her mom was speaking Spanish to him, so I didn't pick up on him. I'm like, "No, why?" She's like, "You don't hear what she's saying to him? All she's doing, all like from the time he walks in to the time he leaves her, all this woman does is just tell my son how great he is, right? How great he is, how smart he is, how beautiful he is, like all these things, right? Like, and it's just nonstop. It's like a damn song almost. It's nonstop. And that so my son gets that from her, from his mom, from me. And I used to do that to my daughter, but I hung out with my daughter and I was taking a couple of my salespeople out for drinks. And then my senior salesperson, she's like, call her back and tell her you love her. And I'm like, damn, I don't know what age it was, but I stopped telling my daughter I love her when I hang up the phone.
Mm.
And I know that's a product of what I experienced. And again, my parents didn't do anything wrong, right? Like they just aren't the affectionate type, right? So I stopped saying I love you to my daughter when I hang up, and I don't know why. It's no rhyme or reason. I just don't say it anymore when I need to start. Now that I'm having this conversation, but yes. So with Chase, just the same thing with Bree. Like up until a certain age, now I know I stopped. I gotta start it back up.
How about you, P? Do you pour into your kids emotionally, affectionately, like on a daily basis, or often enough? And
I did not. I don't think I expected this, because the cold part is I'm thinking about yesterday. Yesterday, I had Shy and Justice with me all day, and we had to kill time because Soraya had an appointment that I took her to, and we had to kill time, so I drove to the mall. And I don't know why it hit me in the parking lot. We were sitting in the parking lot eating McDonald's all in the car and shit. And I had been struggling the past couple of weeks with this. And I told Justice this. I was like, bro, this conversation for me is uncomfortable. It's hard. I don't really want to have it, but I got to keep talking to you. So long story short, man, I identified and I told him this yesterday. I was like, I realized that with Honey, that's what they call my mom. That's her. She don't like being called grandma. So I realized with Honey not speaking to me anymore, and ever since Honey stopped coming around and just got funny, I've been really mad and I've been really hurt and really upset. And I know you may not see it, but I know that some of that hurt and that anger got misdirected to you, and y'all. I said, but I think you mostly because you're with me every day. And this is uncomfortable to say because my feelings are still hurt by Honey doing what she did and having me angry. But I'm more upset about the fact that I know that I've directed some of this to you and have kind of normalized it. And I want to apologize to you for that, even if you didn't see it, because I know, even if you still think I'm great and fantastic, I know that I've done it, bro. And I'm not proud of it. And I can't not tell you this in case you've picked up on an ounce of it ever, because I want to apologize to you.
And you'll never.
And it was, huh?
No, I'm just saying, and we just. I'm glad you did that because we never know what they retain. It could be, 10 years down the line, and that's something he remembers. Like, what I mean, Honey stopped talking to us, and my dad he went through a phase where he was mean to me. You know what I'm saying? Like we might not be aware that that's what he's processing. So I'm very glad that you had that conversation, bro.
Yeah, I had to, man, because my mom being the catalyst of it, really was like, nah, I got to deal with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going. My mama ain't gonna be the reason why my son gets some unwarranted energy from me. So it was really hard for me to do because I've stopped myself having that conversation with him a couple times over the past couple weeks, man. So to answer your question, that came immediately to mind because that's a direct reflection of some of the things that I've assessed in my childhood now that happen with me and my mom that make me angry. You know what I'm saying? Like make me upset. And I know somehow in dealing with him, sometimes I've channeled that anger and it's come across to him. So he told me that he was like, well, even when you do flash, like the thing about you, Dad, like if you're off, you always come back around and go, hey, yo, my energy was off. I apologize. I went and got you always apologize. So I don't think he was like, I don't think you're mean to me at all. And it made me feel hella good to hear him say that. But at the same time, I know I have been.
Well, one thing
you get what I'm saying?
One thing you are doing though, P, whether you realize it or not, you're leading by example. That's an example.
Yeah. Well, I told him that. We was walking through Women's Macy's. And I was like, and the reason why I'm telling you this, well, we were, I remember this shit vividly. We was walking through Women's Macy's coming through the perfume. And I was like, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because I didn't have nobody. There was no man around me to like that I watched work out shit or struggle even. Like I don't even know what it looks like for a man to be going through some shit. So I got to do it for you so that you can use me as an example. And I told him this. I was like, even when you're flawed, being flawed is what it is the norm. Like being perfect isn't the norm. Being flawed is the norm. It's what you do with it. So just watch what I'm doing and take in what I'm saying because there become times where something isn't right and you're going to have to process it and deal with it. And sometimes it's easier to go through it when you tell the person in real time rather than waiting. And I just want to tell you now that I picked up on it and I'm sorry. So interesting enough, I feel like it gave myself a little grace unknowingly because I can tell my demeanor has been different since then yesterday. Like I haven't had that mean that mean energy. You know what I mean? It was kind of like acknowledging it and saying it to him and hearing his response.
It became real.
But it kind of cleansed it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like rather than feeling as uncomfortable as I thought I was going to, I felt like an exhale, like, all right.
As dope as that is, I still not to take from that, but I want a specific answer to the question. Do you pour into your children affectionately? Do you give them the love that you wish you had received? Or I don't know.
It's not a wish. The answer is yes, but it's not a wish. I don't do it based off of what I wish I would receive.
Or lack thereof. You know,
yeah, it's automatic autopilot. For me, it is automatic autopilot because I didn't get it. Like being a father and loving on them is the easiest thing.
Right.
Because I have nothing to compare it to. Nothing. So I do whatever the fuck. And it's freedom. Nigga, like I do weird shit.
No,
I show my love and it's fucking freedom. I have a world to just guess and do shit.
I get it completely. So I think as far as pouring into them little nigglets, they get it all. I'm hugging them, loving them, kissing on my boys, hugging on my boys. Yesterday we had a conversation about confidence, which was super dope because Major and I I took him middle child syndrome, so I took him out. He and I went to go play mini golf a couple weeks ago, and he would lose. He lost. He would lose like a hole and get like upset and start to like get ready to cry. And he's like, and he called himself a wimp. And I'm just like, nah, that's not what it is. I'm like, you're a competitor. You don't like to lose. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing, but you're not going to be great at everything, but you can be great at everything. You got to start somewhere. And then you could like see his confidence building as we go through. But then yesterday, what happened was I asked him if he wanted to go back to mini golf. And like, he literally, like, my son's so weird. He was like he did like Chase, think of one of these, like he did a shaking Bellamy. He did one of those real quick, and I watched it and I'm like, don't do that, yo. It was because basically he was like, I don't want to go back and lose again. So we had a conversation about confidence, and it was real cool because like I got him to understand it, and like it was so funny because I'm having him repeat some of the things that I say, and he didn't say it with confidence, and then I had him, repeat it with confidence, and then later on in the night, you could hear him like he started to say something. He did like, and then like spoke with more confidence.
Yeah,
it just felt really good. But one thing I can't say regret, but one thing I'm yearning for my babies is to be that example for them. I can love on them, and I can be kind and polite to their mom, but they don't see that they don't see a man in general or me loving on a woman, and I want to emulate that for my boys, and I do it to my daughter, but I want her to see that. The kids learn from that example. So you guys have that essence where they can see that now. They can see what it's like to come in the house and kiss your wife every day before when you get home from work, or yada yada yada. All that shit makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Bell, I've only seen G and Curtis kiss a couple times. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that that's a bad thing, but like being able to emulate that for your son is an awesome thing. You dig what I'm saying? And
it's definitely eye-opening for me that I need to. And me and my daughter speak every day, like 3-4 times a day. Like it's not like we don't have.
I saw something the other day. I don't know if you waiting on Facebook. I screenshot it. Let me go ahead and find what you're gonna keep going. But she says,
no, I'm just saying it's not like we don't have a strong relationship. I mean,
she said
a phenomenal relationship.
So she said she posted, and it was a meme, and she said, "On my soul" with 14 L's. It said, "I don't care how hard my life is. And in bold letters, I'm calling my dad, and he gonna fix it." She put "on my soul," and I'm like, "That's what you want." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's going on? She call my daddy, and I got it, and that's love right there. So moving forward, fellas, give me. I know we took love from relationship to childhood, whatever.
Love.
Give me the
I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. The Music Soul Child. What is it? So
many things I've got to tell you,
but I'm afraid. That's a clip we should put up right there. We should have kept going, man. I messed up the party. Anyways, biggest lesson you learned about love, fellas? Good, bad, or indifferent? Biggest lesson you've learned about love? Shout out to the black men talking about love. Word.
It ain't got nothing to do with them. That's my biggest lesson. It ain't got nothing to do with other people, but like the love you're able to create for yourself is going to manifest all around you. It does not have to do with them at the very core of it, in my opinion.
And by them, we mean anybody else.
Yes, I mean other people. I think everybody else is an extension to the love that you're able to manifest through yourself. Whether you keep it and you have it for yourself, or you give it constantly away to other people, you're your own source of love. Like you are the barometer for the amount of love that's going to be in your life. That's what I've learned.
The biggest lesson I learned about love is you
Sorry, I had to. I don't know why shit in my head. I hit mute. I had to sing it.
Hey, man, I was about to laugh at that Michael Jackson quiver you put in that bitch.
I had to. I hit mute. I had to sing that shit. I don't know why I got stuck in my head. Anyways, keep the party going, Bell. Sorry.
Cut that nigga off hella
it's all
hard.
good. Couple things I learned about love. All right, even the best air quotes relationships are hard, right? So that's what I'll tell you too, Prentice. Right? Obviously, you and Sarah have been together for a little bit, but you're not married, right? The best relationships are hard. That's one. Two is someone can be loving you unconditionally, but loving you the way that they feel you should be loved. You have to help people understand how you need to be loved, right? Like there's going to be certain things that someone does to you from their perspective. It doesn't mean they love you less, but you may receive it that way, right? So communication. So that's the biggest thing I would say is the strongest relationships are hard, and you have to communicate what love looks like and feels like for you to your spouse.
So, very valid points and great points from the both of you cats. I wrote down love languages. I want us to talk about that in the next episode because I don't know if you guys
that'd be good.
But that shit was like love languages spoke. That shit is real for real. For real. But so for me, it's similar to the both of you guys. One of the biggest lessons I learned about love was absolutely being able to love yourself enough to change. Because we are always in our own way. And once we love ourselves enough, we can go, give yourself permission to grow that love. You know what I'm saying? And that shit makes a difference. But a big lesson in love for me was I think I said this in the podcast many podcast episodes ago, but it was the separation of family versus family. That was a huge lesson for me, man. Like my in-home family versus my extended family, being cousins, brothers, mother, all that. Like just being who, like, most of us are the ones who made it in the family. You know what I'm saying? The ones people look up to. Like I got 9 aunts and uncles, and I'm like, I'm the go-to of the family. You dig what I'm saying? So when it came time for me to have my own family, I spent more time running to help my cousins, my mom, my brother, yada, 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 and not neglected, but like didn't put my home first because I was still trying to do that. I think when you have that love of family, you have to be able to separate that and take care of your home first. Make sure that's the priority. And I could be priority, boundaries, but it was learning to set boundaries in love. How about that?
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest lessons for me, for sure.
That's dope.
I feel like we covered some good stuff tonight, fellas.
I'm tired.
Love is a dope thing, and we're gonna get back to these love languages next time. So, P, I'm gonna go to you first. I see you heavy in thought. Give us the final thought in regards to this Black Man Talking About Love episode. That's what I'm gonna title it to. Black Man Talking About Love.
Or Black Man Know Your Worth.
Challenge yourself after you listen to this podcast to do something new in the name of love. You know what I mean? Like just to give it to yourself or somebody else in some way after you listen to this.
Yo, I like that. I feel like we on to something right now. I feel like, you think we can give homework after every episode, yo? I think that was dope. Like you said, challenge yourself. Like that's dope. I think we should give a homework assignment after every episode moving forward, yo. Like this what we need.
I think we should also do homework after every episode too, and not necessarily just reflection homework, right? Because like I said, there's things that we don't even know we feel until we start talking about them. You know what I'm saying? And then
a lot of time.
Every single one of us have had that experience on here. You know what I mean?
Sure. Which is also fucking cool as hell too, to sit back and be like, damn, I never looked at it like that. Let me take, but we always do that reflection and we come back to the next episode or something like that. So I guess listening, we encourage you guys to do the same, like reflect and help it, let it help you become a better you. Go ahead. Oh, you were done, P? I'm sorry. Your
No,
final
I was finished, bro.
Go ahead. Final
It's
thought.
crazy, man. I had a final thought, but then I started talking. I started listening to P and started talking, and I forgot. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's a good exercise. Like, so one of the gifts of me tearing my Achilles and having to get surgery is I had to sit my ass down. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm sitting down, I start reflecting and I start doing some work on myself, right? I think a good exercise for couples is, whether be married or whatever, is to express two things: express to their significant others what they need consistently from them, right? Like 3 or 4 things. Hey, consistently, this is what I need from you, right? Now, it can be affection, it can be reassurance, it can be protection, it can be, authenticity, it can be whatever, right? But just what you need from that person, right? So that's one. You guys sit down, do that with each other, right? But the where you can become great at that is if you are giving them what they're asking for of you and what you're asking for of them. So everything you're asking them for, you're also reciprocating that while giving them what they're asking you for.
Which may seem like a lot in some cases, but
it's really like 3 or 4 things that may even overlap.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing I would suggest that's been proved to be helpful is check-ins, right? With your significant other. My wife and I, we still go to therapy, and we had a therapy session on Saturday, and I was asking our therapist, I'm like, how do I coach her? I need some shit I need to tell her, but I want to make sure I do it right. And then, then she started asking a lot of questions. So I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm like, we're about to do a SWOT analysis on our relationship, right? And the SWOT analysis it's an acronym. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? SWOT. And of course, she was taken back. She's like, I'm not, like, this isn't corporate. You're not talking to your sales team. I'm like, all right. So we changed the acronym to So Wow Out Together. Either way, we're going to be going over the strengths of the relationship, the weaknesses, the areas of opportunity, and the threats, right? As a check-in, because you'll see, like, when you're in a relationship, you got kids, you got careers, like, you're all hard chargers. A lot of shit gets lost in the sauce, right? And a lot of things go unsaid, but it builds up. So, 3 or 4 things that you can identify for your partner that you need on a consistent basis, and quarterly or biannual check-ins on where you guys are. That's my final thought. That's what would help.
For sure. Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you wish to receive. But for real, lead by example, yo. I think a lot of us may have missed a cue or two in regards to our reception of love growing up or as an adult. And I think once you become aware of that, you want to emulate that for those you care about, whomever it be. So, be the change you wish to see. Period. Anything else, fellas? I enjoyed this show. Thought that was dope. Think the people are going to like this one. Nevertheless, per usual, y'all, we are on all social media outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. We are at Gmail at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you thought of the episode. If you got anything for us to talk about. And per usual, do us all a favor. Hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.